Not enough force, not enough defensive intensity. Played against a team that was inspired and angry, and so typical NBA playoff scenario. It played out, so we got to respond with more force.
What did you think of the three-point looks that they got? Should they have been defended better on the film?
We lost Mirotic several times in transition, which is disappointing. We lost Ian Clark a couple times, so our three-point coverage was not good.
You guys have, in the past, when you basically let Tony Allen just kind of do what he wanted. I mean, Rondo, you'd think is similar because he can't shoot, but he handles the ball so much more. How much difficult does it make that where you want to lay off a guy, but he's pretty much got the ball all game?
Well, Rondo's been playing his whole career with people backing off him, and for him, it's almost a gift because now he's got easy passing lanes and he's a brilliant passer. So that's where the trick lies when you defend him. You got to understand when to back off, when to pressure, and it's not an easy thing to figure out because he's such a unique player, and they have a team that's very suited to his talents and vice versa.
Was that a big problem in his 21 assists last night? I know you mentioned the Mirotic transition. I remember he's kind of bringing guys in,
right,
pitching them back, and dumping it off easy to Davis.
Yeah, no, Rondo was great last night. I mean, he was fantastic. So our defense has to get better. We got to, like I said, we got to pick our spots better in terms of whether we're pressuring them or backing off. And you get a feel as you go with this stuff, and I think we'll be better tomorrow.
It seems like one of the only real matchups is Drew and KD when they both guard each other the other end. Do you want to see more from KD in that matchup and maybe taking that over?
I don't look at the game that way in terms of individual matchups. I think we can all play with more force and more intensity, and that's everybody on our team. So as long as we're doing that, then everything kind of takes care of itself.
Steve, to your point yesterday of Steph, just the second game being the most challenging part, what's the process you envision of that timing and the rhythm and fatigue?
Well, the third game is usually amazing.
Yeah.
No, but that's just been my experience, both as a player and as a coach. That second one, when the adrenaline's gone, reality sets in, and you got to grind through a little bit. But the good news is, as you move on, the rhythm comes back and the routine comes back, and I think that's what you're going to see from Steph. He's going to step into a much more comfortable role, and not only within the offense, but in his being, in his body, he's feeling better and better each day.
Was he at the point to be able to increase the minutes, or you want to keep it kind of where it's been? So
I think he's gaining conditioning every day, so we can definitely increase the minutes.
Coach, is there still concern that lineup with Iguodala there and Draymond at the center? Is there still concern of starting that because you don't want to mess up?
God, you guys are good. Yes, there is concern. There's a lot of concern, but I still could do it. It's plausible.
But if you did
if we were to do it.
If you did, is there concern that you said that messes up the rotation pattern?
Well, I think answering the question in general terms, this series is pretty unique because they play so small, and our bench is filled with centers, and so it's the first series that I can remember where we haven't really been able to go like 10, even 11 deep, and since I've been here. So, but they're a very unique challenge, so we're down a body with Patrick McCaw. He would make a lot of sense with his defense in this series. Without him, and then overloaded at centers in reserve, and even starting small like we did the first two games, it definitely thins our bench out. So that's something we have to consider.
Is there an ideal or a minutes limit that you would want to play that particular group in a game? Is there a ballpark number?
No, I don't ever go into a game, especially a playoff game, thinking along those lines.
Or guideline maybe?
No. In the regular season, it's not a lineup we want to go to all the time because it can be tiring, and you got 82 games. But In the playoffs, it's a lineup we've gone to, for longer minutes, and there's always rest in between games. You don't have back-to-backs, all that stuff. So there's some food for thought for you, Chris. I mean, that makes this an entire possibility. I got to rethink everything. I don't know what I'm going to do.
On that lineup, last year particularly, it was quite excellent, and this year it hasn't gotten a lot of run just because of injuries and things
Right.
like that, but it hasn't really seemed to find its groove yet, at least like it did last year. Is that just not having a lot of time together to make that happen? Is that the regular season and the wear and tear of it all? What do you attribute
I think
it to?
it's a combination of the injuries and the way we kind of went through the regular season anyway. We were resting guys. Periodically we were pacing ourselves, to be quite frank. We weren't bringing the full 110% old college try every night with that group, and it's a group that obviously has to compete at a high level for it to really catch fire. And obviously this is the playoffs, and so it's I'm very comfortable playing that group and playing other guys as well. So we'll find the right combinations.
Steve, as a player or a coach, do you have any examples of players outrageously trying to bait opponents into a stupid foul or into doing something?
I did play with Dennis Rodman. So yes, many examples. So.
Anything stand out?
No, I mean it happened all the time. Just guys, Dennis trying to get under guys' skin and them retaliating, picking up a foul, and there's been plenty of others in the league's history. It's a fairly common tactic, and so I think Draymond's done a good job of handling his business, and Rondo's a competitor, so they're competing. I don't see anything wrong with it other than the tripping. You can't do that. I'm all for getting underneath a guy's skin, but you can't try to step on a guy's foot or try to swipe a guy underneath his feet as he's shooting. Those are dangerous plays. So other than that, I like the competition.
Did you ask the league about any of those plays or talk to them or show them?
Yep, possibly. Yeah, I thought the game was very well officiated last night. I thought those guys did a great job. The Pelicans were the more physical team. They were the aggressors. They deserved to win. Obviously, they crushed us. But so I don't have any problem with any particular calls. It's just.
Are you talking about the Steph one in particular?
Yeah, the Steph one. Yeah. So we'll, whatever. We'll probably send it in, and it's not going to do anything. But hopefully, they just keep an eye on it.
Did you see that this morning? I assume.
I saw it last night.
Oh, okay.
Just a dangerous play. It's a dangerous.
Kiki's here, right?
Kiki's here.
Yeah. Any feedback?
I haven't talked to him.
Last night, Alvin said he left his starters in after you pulled yours because he's a little scared about the runs and when they come and how explosive this team is. I was wondering, do you know when it's coming? Can you sense when you guys are just gonna play the max, so to speak?
I think you can feel it coming. It usually starts at the defensive end. We had it in game one in that second quarter, and it has to start with your aggression defensively because the stops lead to transition. The transition is where you get the pull-up threes, the dunks. When we're at home, that's when the crowd gets into it. You can't just be trading baskets. It's got to be the runs come off of our defense. Put it that way.
So do you have like a button under your chair where you're like,
I do.
it's time to go turbo booster?
Yeah, it's like Dr. Evil, like when he pushes the button. Guy flips over and he goes into the shark tank. It's that easy.
Becky Hammond is interviewing for the Bucks shop. What's the ideal structure in an organization for a first-time head coach to find success?
First-time female head coach or first-time any?
Male or female?
Well, for me, being a first-time head coach, the important structure that we had in place was that I had unbelievable support from Bob. I think the coach has to have a partnership with the owner and the GM, and then it's up to the coach to develop good, strong relationships with his best players. And so when you get that all in line, star player, GM, owner, coach, and you got some talent, then I think you have the formula to be successful.
And then as it pertains to Becky, the doubt that might come out or the sexism that might come out, how can the organization help her deal with that?
Again, support from ownership and the GM is the key for anybody, but it would be especially key for a woman stepping into that situation. And it's something that I think will happen at some point, and I'm glad that Becky's getting the opportunity to interview. I think that's great.
Are there any steps that you see for the NBA to widen that pipeline to get more women with the right resumes in positions of authority?
Yeah, possibly. I think it's just the open-mindedness of the willingness of coaches to hire a female on their staff, and as we see more of that, it'll become more normal, just like everything else in our society. As things normalize, then you'll see breakthroughs and you'll see things change.
In the event that you got an assistant coach position opening, hypothetically?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would absolutely consider a woman, or I would. It's always about best qualified people, and who gets along well in a group environment. Which people thrive on a staff and with a large group of people. So I think I don't know if this is the perfect metaphor, but Chelsea Lane runs our training staff. That hasn't happened an awful lot in this league, but it's worked beautifully because Chelsea has the respect of the players and her bosses. So same concept. All right. Thank you.